I want to talk about how Hurricane Milton turned out to be completely bitch made. All right, they made such that goddamn meteorologist was crying. He was crying on video like a bitch.
Incredible hurricane. It has dropped. It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
He's like tearing up and sobbing, weeping like a woman about
kind of guy who pulls over for cops.
What it's gonna do. Yeah, that guy pulls over for fucking cops that aren't even after him. He's turning himself in for speeding and shit. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing
to do.
I think it hit as like a hurricane, like a category 3, and then immediately petered out or something. Dude, you could bet online about the death toll. The over and under was 500 2 days ago.
Really?
I was like, take the under, everybody. Take the under. Take the under. Like, it's so.
I think it turned out to be. I think I just read it was 10. Do you have the same figure?
They're still counting. You know how it is.
Right.
You know I mean? Like, they wouldn't know but they ain't going to 500. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't getting to 500. I saw people. They were investing in the generator company, Generac. It was like that was the Wall Street bet. You know, because they're about to just sell a lot of fucking generators, I guess.
What how many people is it Helene? What was the first one?
The most previous one that hit mostly Georgia and South Carolina and you guys. I heard a couple hundred. I thought there was like 120 like right away. So you'd think maybe 200 or something. That flooding is wild. You know, like especially in North Carolina and South Carolina, some of those out of the way areas that are low lying and they have those. I don't know. They weren't prepared for that kind of rain. I guess.
You see the flooding in Tennessee? That is not an area I think of to flood from hurricanes. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Like it's
Asheville
so
too.
In.
They're about the same probably.
Is Asheville super inland?
Yeah. Asheville's on the most western part of North Carolina, and North Carolina's wider than you might think it is. Like, if you just have a mental vibe, you're like, holy shit, this thing's halfway to the Mississippi.
Yep.
Anyway, out west there in the Appalachian Mountains, that's where Asheville is, and they had a lot of mudslides, which are troublesome to clean up after.
Yeah, they can cause a lot of damage. I saw tons of clips online of people who were trying to farm engagement and being like, look at all these clips of Milton. And like half of them I would see, I'm like, I've seen this one. I've seen this one. But I ended up just watching a bunch of them because I realized I really enjoy those. Like, I don't want to see someone like a person get hurt or an animal or anything, but seeing like buildings get destroyed or seeing cars
away.
or stuff getting blown away. I was searching on Twitter. I'm like, hurricane footage, like trying to find cool compilations of it.
You're messing up then. All right.
What?
I'm a gangster at this. Okay. You don't want hurricane footage because it's lame. Hurricanes are lame.
Well, earthquakes are cool too. It's just that's
no, or not earthquakes. Earthquakes are bullshit too. Everybody wiggles a little.
Okay, what are the good ones? Tornadoes? Tornadoes are cool.
Tsunamis. Okay, so there are 3 big tsunamis. There's the 2004 Indonesian tsunami. Okay, that one killed 250,000 fucking people, and it hit on because it's such a wide disaster area, like thousands of miles wide or something, that you get all this different footage of it just sweeping the earth clean of man, beast, and structures. But then the Fukushima one or whatever, the one that caused the Japanese reactors to overheat, like maybe a decade ago, something like that. You can see the waves rushing through these little Japanese towns with like torrential power. It looked like a whitewater rapids style river, but it's going through a town. And there's people in there, like hanging on to like, them little Japanese cars and shit they drive. They're just floating away, like on top of them sometimes, and sometimes just getting sucked under. There's this one Japanese guy who's been going out ever since scuba diving, looking for his wife, looking for her remains. For
I've seen that.
Years and years he's been looking for his wife's body. Scuba diving.
Yeah. It's probably
terrible at it, you're thinking?
What if he's just a bad searcher? He's just
right. What if he's really into meth and he just can't stop looking for?
He's looking in one very specific area.
It was an asphalt ocean, and I just kept looking.
Yeah. Once I clear this 10-yard by 10-yard area, I'll expand to the rest of the sea. But I have to double check, triple check.
There's another one too that happened between those two, because I remember there was this story about this, maybe an Australian schoolgirl. She was like the only one on the beach who recognized the signs of the tsunami and started warning people, and everybody. Yeah, she got some sort of like medal of the people. Those are so silly. The civilian awards that you see people occasionally get, like the key to the city, or or some bullshit bronze medallion they strap on some kid because he made a pipe bomb at school.
That's not made up.
When I was a lifeguard in the ocean, we'd do these drills, right? So everyone would go out. We'd cover about probably less than 100 yards from like the water's edge to out, straight out. And we'd look for dead bodies. It was just a drill we did. And we'd all sort of like dolphin dive, touch the bottom. And they had a garbage bag filled up with sand. And if anyone found it, then, we found that we were capable of finding 0% of the time. 4 years that all of us never found. I didn't find it. Nobody found it.
There's just 25 bags of sand down there just sitting.
Damn. Yeah, we can't find bodies at all.
Yeah,
it would be. I always think that's
bullshit.
bullshit in a movie. Whenever somebody goes under the water and it's like that dark, murky water that you can't, like a lake or something, dude, they're gone.
Yeah.
If you've ever gone like underwater in a lake, you know it might as well be mud or tar.
Yeah, you may as well have hidden that body on the moon because no one's gonna find it.
The idea of swimming down underwater for like multiple strokes, like 10, 15 feet, grabbing a guy and pulling him up, unless the water's clear. Like the water would have to be so clear. You'd have to be able to see him from the surface.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lake of the Ozarks, you can kill a lot of people and throw them in there.
I pulled a guy up once, but he wasn't hard to find at all. Like he was just on the surface a few seconds earlier.
Yeah. That's awesome that you've saved all those people's lives.
He was the best one. I've told his story before. Like he's the one where like normally I have this thing we call a can. It's like a flotation device shaped like a torpedo almost. I give it to him. I give him instructions to kick with their feet and I pull him in, right? I'm looking for a little assist. This guy held it on his chest and laid on his back the whole time. He wasn't taking instructions. He wasn't clear-headed enough for any of that. So I just shocked in. But the fun part was the next day, his wife and 2 kids came by. They were Japanese. They weren't American. And with the English that they had, they all thanked me for bringing Dad.
They give you a bow?
No, I didn't get a bow.
Oh, that's bullshit.
They did a ceremony dance.
Dude, I'd have expected a bow. If I save a Japanese businessman's life on a beach, his family should be showing up. I imagine them with leis. Like, I know it's not Hawaiian. It's Hawaiian and Japanese are 2 very different things, sort of, but I imagine them with like wreaths of flowers to like lay over my head. Kind of like the medal ceremony at the end of the first Star Wars movie or whatever, when everybody's getting a medal. I definitely want to bow. I want the little children to bow too.
No, okay, I don't take compliments.
I would have demanded.
I was just embarrassed. I was like, "Here's a big deal. It's cool."
Thank you.
Bow. I'd bow, children.
What if you saved him and he immediately was like, "I have been humiliated in front of my family," and he kills himself on the beach?
Seppuku right there.
Oh man, what a waste! Ruin the beach day, man.
That was a big.
He could have made you an origami thing. There's any number of racist suggestions that he could have done for you, and he didn't. What a piece of shit!
Dude, you pull me out. I'm going to give you a bow.
Well, that's nice of you. I'm going to look really embarrassed while you do it.
Oh, speaking of you saving people from drowning, I saw this video online just a couple weeks ago, and it was one of those classic, like, doesn't look dangerous pools of water, but I guess any pool of water is dangerous if you don't know how to swim. And it was this dude who was like not swimming, doing like that grasping at water, or like not moving mechanically correctly. He clearly couldn't swim, and he like got into the middle of this little body of water and grabbed onto a giant hunk of wood that could easily support him. 2 people could have come up and grabbed on this piece of giant, like part of a trunk with branches sticking out, holding onto that. And then he was maybe 10, 12 feet from where he got into the water. Still don't know. There was no explanation in the video why he got in. And then he like lets go of his own accord and starts doing that like grass, like Sam from Lord of the Rings, where he's drowning, like up and grabbing, but ineffectively. And then this other guy comes around, and before the other guy even gets in, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I've heard this. You don't go near a drowning man unless you know what you're doing, because you'll both drown. And this other guy was down. He poked him down. This other guy was not a lifeguard. Like, he didn't know what he was doing, I guess, but he could swim. And he like swam over, grabbed the guy, like kept trying to boost him up. But the initial drowning guy was like a tentacled monster, just like pinning the other guy's arms to him, like just in panic, not maliciously, but like panicking and doing this. And both of them died.
Really?
People were like filming, watching on. And I wanted to ask you, like, what's the right move would be to find a rope or like?
Oh, well, if you can, like, hand them a stick or something, that's a lot safer. But if someone's pulling you down and you're a good swimmer, just go down. You stop becoming attractive to them. I've done it dozens of times.
Oh, so you just kind of make yourself.
Yeah, they're like pushing me under. You're going to win that 100% of the time because I'm going under.
Yeah, let's go down there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Suddenly, I'll go 3 feet under and wait for you
deep?
to calm your panicking ass down. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
And that's
see, you would have saved this man. This
I know the cops.
I did not.
I'll tell you what the cops do every single time. They watch the dude drown every single fucking time. I've seen it multiple times. Yeah, they're like,
I mean, those guns.
no. They're like, what do we do? We could shoot him.
Does he have a dog? Does he have a dog we could kill?
I tried tasing him, but it actually, you'd think the water would have magnified it. It just neutralized it, and you couldn't tase him at all. He just drowned out there.
Damn
the guy.
This job to be racist.
I saw when the cops are chasing the guy. The guy's on a bicycle, and he's doing that.
And they're on foot chasing.
They're on a car.
Okay.
They're in a car, and he's on a bicycle. So it's one of those chases where it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know how this ends, knucklehead. Like, there's no reason. This isn't even like when you've stolen a cool car and you're like, I'm gonna run the wheels off this fucking Beamer before the cops give me 5 years. It ain't that. He's on a Huffy and he's just going through some ghetto ass neighborhood, and they're behind him with the loudspeaker saying the obvious. Hey, stop.
You don't think there's a chance?
There's not a chance in hell.
If he's fit and he's good on the bike and he knows the place, he needs to do things cars can't, right?
This was not a park.
We have a friend in common who, for the few of you out there that know motorcycles, he's on a DRC 400. This is basically a dirt bike. Top speed is like 70. Running from the police was a hobby for him. He enjoyed it, and he would tell stories. And I'm like, how do you even outrun a cop on a DRZ 400? He's like, I had bust a U-turn, and then when he starts making his U-turn, I bust another U-turn. Off I go. I'm like, oh
yeah, but again, brilliant. This guy's on a bicycle.
He'll go between houses.
I mean, the next block is right there. In any case, he goes between houses, and what you know it, there's a pond there. He crashes his bicycle into the pond, and his first move is like, I don't know how to swim, but I'm gonna try. And he starts like, and he makes it.
You don't know if you can do it until you try.
You don't know if you can do it.
That's how I consider the harpsichord.
Mm-hmm. This guy was a believer, and this guy was an ever the optimist. I'm sure that's what he wrote in his obituary. Marquez never swam a lick in his life, but he believed. Services will be this Sunday. So he's out there like drowning, like slapping the water. And the cop's like, bro, what? Come back to me. And he's like, he can't. And the cop has like this rescue line or something. But it looked to me like if you ever have a kite kit as a kid and you've got that little spool of string, that little thing that's shaped like this, the strings on. He had something like that, and he's getting out this. It's like if Batman had a gadget that didn't work real well. And he like throws that thing out to him, and he's like,
Batman.
Immediately,
grab the stick, grab the rescue stick, and the guy just goes, and the cop goes, shit, and that was it. He never surfaced again. The cop
at that point I administered the tactical drowning retrieval mechanism. It's like, you mean the string with the hook on the end, sir? You threw a hook at the man drowning.
His shoes wet. The cop didn't even get his shoes
How deep
wet.
was how far was the guy from the shoreline? Is the question I'm trying to ask.
20 feet, 30, less than 30. Like if you did a running jump and got that
a dive and resurface, yeah,
and then one stroke, like one good, like maybe like a pop, and you'd be on him. Like
in the
that
Olympics,
quick.
It's about 45 feet is as far as they let them go. They surface on purpose.
Yeah, it's a pond, so you probably wade out for the first like 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah, you wade out.
It wasn't like one of those weird Bahama sinkholes where it goes from 30 feet to like 300 feet.
So did he
right
die?
there. It was he drowned to death right there as the cop walked. The cop went shit as he died. Like that was it. Then the video goes, we recovered his body 3 hours later. We called in the blah blah blah, and it's like shit. What were you thinking, Marquez?
Seeing someone drown to death is like maybe it's because I know how to swim, but swimming is so intuitive in a lot of ways where it's like you push against the water in the direction you want to go. And so if you're trying to do that, you don't have your hands splayed apart. You'd cup it so that you can push better.
We float.
People kick. Yeah, we float. Like seeing someone drown is
like
just
lean back, and if you do that
if
trick,
you can relax.
You can do that thing where you take your jeans off and blow them up. You tie the legs in knots and blow them up with air when they're wet. Put it behind your neck. Do the same thing with your shirt. Zip it up. Like you can become. It can become a relaxing day in any body of water that you're in, especially salt water. There's no excuse for drowning.
It's extra buoyant. So that's like you see someone drown to death, and it's like you just want to reach through the screen and be like, just do what you're doing, but better. Like just don't.
I'm not a strong swimmer, but I'm not a drowner either. I'm never going to drown.
No.
When I was learning to swim, it wasn't as obvious for me as it seemed to be for you guys. I learned to swim underwater first, so I could like go places, but only for like 15 or 20 seconds. And if I didn't finish swimming in a place where I could like hold a wall, I was fucked. And I got rescued by a lifeguard.
That's how I learned to swim, was just like jumping off the diving board and then struggling to get to the side with my,
while the guards watched you.
With my dad.
You did what age did you do swim lessons, Kyle?
I didn't do swim lessons. We had a pool. It was just like dad throwing you in and like, no, but face down, paddle. Actually, I know I take it back. I went to like one swim lesson and it quickly became clear that like I know how to swim as well as I'm going to learn how to swim here. I think it was for my sister actually, because she was always falling in and drowning. Like she fell into a river once and was like floating away. And I was like, look out. And they had to go get her. And then she fell in the pool one time and was drowning. And they had to be like, she's drowning. And they had to get her. But I could swim from like 4 or 5 years old. They were like had me in the pool. It's like all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I had to
again, I'm not a strong swimmer by any means, but I'm not a drowner either.
Did you do swim lessons at the YMCA, Taylor?
It was like at a local school's gym. It wasn't my school. And it's like one of those scents that's very strongly tied to memory. So like if I walked into that chlorine infested room, I think they've torn that school down since. But yeah, I had to do like maybe 2 years of that. And then I would swim so much not at the lessons that my parents just were like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
When I was in college, my breath mint of choice was Dentine. And I swear, if I smelled of Dentine and chlorine right now, Jackie would get wet. It was an uncontrollable Pavlovian response.
Oh my God.
You got to do that. Walk around in chlorine and fucking mint.
She comes, do I smell Dentine? I'm gonna do my hair tonight.
It's my smell. Don't take it. Woody's signature scent.
That should be your Axe body spray. Dentine and chlorine and Dentine.
Okay, we know what y'all have been up to. Okay, we try to laugh and carry it along, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, no. The big thing is we controlled the whole
Lebanon
weather thing.
Controlling the weather.
Actually,
thank you for calling off the hurricane. By the way, I saw Trump
Thank you for
put his
calling
yarmulke on and went and bent the knee, and suddenly Milton went from a 5 to a fucking 3. They control hurricanes
saw people
the way
were
they do
pushing
Kanye's
that.
credit score. They just
People
wave
were
a
saying
hand.
Did they say it was the Jews?
They
No.
said the Jews that you could buy. Yeah, you could pay. Like the U.S. government controls the weather, and it's a distraction. And you could pay for nice days if you have enough money. Like this is literally some shit that people are saying.
Yeah, I doubt that. Did you? This was a couple of years, maybe just a year or two ago. Do you guys remember when they did? I think it was Saudi Arabia or Dubai or something. They were doing they were trying to create rain, the cloud seeding thing. And it's real. And they like overdid it. And there were all those videos of like actual floods in the middle of the that's
all those
insane.
Supercars were destroyed. Yeah.
That's
We
wild.
do it in America for the hydroelectric dams. We make it rain where we want it to. We've been
Can we
doing
create
it
anything but
40s.
rain at this point?
Oh,
We do create rain.
No, I'm saying anything but rain. I know we can create rain.
What else? Like what else would you want to create?
Can we create storms? Can we create no. What else can we do?
so the way rain forms is so the answer, Taylor, is I don't fully know, but I know a little bit about making rain. And when the water droplets sort of get bigger and bigger and bigger, eventually they get too heavy to fly around and they fall to the ground. Well, they put what is it like? Ion? I forget what they do, but they basically put this really light ship that forms dust.
Probably
and then
salt.
the water sort of gets on it and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It just seeds the cloud. So it's more apt to form large water droplets that fall to the ground.
It's like inducing labor for a cloud.
Yeah. But the stuff sounded
Pretty
bad.
cool.
What do they see?
I mean, hopefully it's like salt or something and not some
My
like
guess is
horrible-
salt.
Silver iodide
See,
that's good for you. That's good for you. Hey, they put that in the vaccine. I'm fine with that. Little in the clouds, little in your. Nothing wrong with that.
You're thinking of mercury.
You're thinking of mercury and formaldehyde, you dummy.
Sorry. I trust whatever we spray into the clouds that makes it rain.
They better.
By the way, another task for the U.S. Air Force.
That's my God. I want Operation Quadruple Check. Like,
seriously, like,
it doesn't fuck the rain up.
My big idea was like, why don't we seed the clouds so that it rains on the farms that need it? Seems simple enough. And I'm like, well, maybe we don't want silver iodide rain in our food source.
That makes sense. Like, what if it gets in you and it's unhealthy? That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I know we don't control hurricanes though because of the incredible, gigantic.
Fly a lot of planes really, really fast in a circle.
No, it's the whole fucking ocean gets hot or cold, and that's what makes hurricanes. Like it's not something that we're going to be in control of. I mean, when Trump asked if you could nuke the hurricane, I didn't think that was head on your fucking ass, bonkers, stupid question to ask because A, he has nuclear weapons in this scenario. We don't have nuclear weapons, so asking the question is a moot point. He just happened to have been in control of about 3,500 of them that day, and he was like, "Hey, there's a hurricane coming. Could we launch a strike?"
Let's not nuke the ocean. There's no way that's good for us.
It doesn't do anything bad. I promise you.
I'm with Taylor. That
we've been through this.
It is a ridiculously dumb idea. It seems like exploding nuclear weapons in the ocean has to be bad for the water. I just can't get over the idea that it's
not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a hurricane, right? So this air mass is working its way to land. But hold on.
It's going to come to America, or to us.
But Trump has said, I can think of two things off the top of my head that I instantly think are wildly stupid, but also don't know the answer. What does happen if you nuke a hurricane? What does happen if your battery-operated boat sinks? Do you get electrocuted? It's a big body of water.
Because here's what I'm thinking: with the hurricane, like let's say you wait until it's like a tropical storm, and my understanding is the eye of that thing is this negative pressure zone. You know, what if you struck the eye of it? Maybe you could make it collapse and like kind of fall apart, and then it'd have to start its whole thing over again, weakening it that way. Now, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm just saying that sounds like a strategy to me. And at the very least, I think I would ask my fucking general, and I would expect my general not to run to the Washington Post and laugh at me behind my back. That's a shit move, you ask me. All right, I will make commander-in-chief afraid to ask questions. All right, I need Trump in there asking all sorts of dumb questions so he doesn't make any dumb decisions. I'm sure you got a good answer back. Actually, Mr. President, compared to a hurricane, it's our nuclear arsenal just pales in comparison. The amount of forces involved, the vast area that's covered, it would be a pinprick on an elephant, sir. Oh, good, okay. That's all that we needed to do. I didn't think it was embarrassing. Just like I didn't think exploring the idea of purchasing Greenland was embarrassingly stupid.
The Greenland is an excellent idea.
I mean, we got a lot of money here. Like, I don't think I don't hear about Greenland's vast industries or like I don't think they're that rich. Like, maybe we could purchase it from whoever the fuck owns Greenland. I would like to own that little part of the world. Why not?
Yeah, I think we should own Greenland, and then that opens the
Cuba.
door. What other places can we buy? A nice Cuba? Buy Cuba, maybe?